Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn about the characteristics of Proto-Germanic languages. So, when we learn about the characteristics of Proto-Germanic languages, we learn it in relation to the parent Indo-European family from which the Proto-Germanic has originated, and also with reference to the daughter language English, which in turn originated from the Proto-Germanic group. So we are going to have a comparative analysis of the characteristics of Proto-Germanic group in comparison with the parent Indo-European and with the daughter language English. We are quite familiar with the two subdivisions of the Indo-European family, which further divided into 8 language groups. And as students of English language and literature, we focus especially on the Proto Germanic branch because English is descended from this branch. The 8 language groups that belong to the Shadam and the Kentam group, in course of time, it developed their own peculiar features, retaining the common features they shared with the sister languages of the Indo European family. So let's have a look at some of the special features developed by the Germanic group of languages, which helps us to group them together. Let's begin with the first characteristic of Proto-Germanic languages. The Germanic languages inherited the inflectional system of the Indo-European parent language, though they are not highly inflected as the parent language. So what do we mean by this inflectional system? Inflectional system is that in which the word order is not important. So Indo-European and the Proto-Germanic belongs to the inflectional system of languages wherein the word order is not important. However, we see that English, which is a branch of the Proto-Germanic, is an uninflected language because we know for sure that the word order is important in English language. So that's the first characteristic. Proto-Germanic is inflected like the parent Indo-European. However, English is uninflectional. So let's have a look at the second characteristics of Proto-Germanic group. The parent Indo-European language had 8 case forms. However, the Proto-Germanic had only 5 case forms. Coming on to the English language, we have 3 case forms, which are subjective case form, objective case form, and the possessive case form. The 5 case forms of Proto-Germanic languages are nominative case, accusative case, dative case, possessive case, and instrumental case. However, we are not going to get into the details of each of these subsections. Considering the third characteristic of Proto-Germanic language group, we learned that there was no one-to-one correspondence between the grammatical gender and the natural gender. And therefore, each noun had to be described in terms of masculine, feminine, and the neuter gender. As the fourth characteristic of Proto-Germanic language, we learned that in Proto-Indo-European, the noun had 3 forms, the singular, dual, and the plural forms. But then, coming on to the Proto-Germanic group with its daughter language English, we have dropped the dual number, retaining only the singular and the plural. When we look at the change in the form of a word in Proto Indo European and in Proto Germanic, there were different declensions of the noun. The word stone, for example, the singular form can be stan and the plural form can be stanas with the declension as. Another example, that of lamb, the singular would be lamb and the plural would be lambru with the declension ru. The sixth characteristic of the Proto Germanic language is that it developed two kinds of adjectives. What are they? The strong form and the weak form. The strong form was used for non specific cases, and the weak form was used in specific cases. Like in the case of adjectives, the Proto Germanic verbs as well have the strong form and the weak form. This is in accordance with the modern English usage of regular verb and irregular verbs. Let's have a look at it. The Proto Germanic group had two classes of verbs, strong and weak form. They inherited this methodology from the Proto Indo European family. So, verbs which indicate the change of tense by a change in the vowel, as in example, ride comes wrote and written, there is a change of the vowel to indicate the change of tense. These are called strong verbs. So, what are weak verbs? Weak verbs are those verbs in which the change of tense was marked by adding an inflection like ed or d. For example, work, worked. When we consider the case of modern English, these weak verbs are referred to as regular verbs, and the strong verbs like write, etc., are indicated or categorized under irregular verbs. Coming on to the eighth characteristic of Proto Germanic group, the Proto Indo European had an elaborate system of verb conjugations in which there was a multitude of forms used to indicate the tense of the verb. However, in Proto Germanic, the verb had only two tense forms. What are they? The past and the present form. So, the elaborate system of verb conjugation in Proto Indo European was reduced to just two, the present and the past form in Proto Germanic. Coming on to the last characteristic, the Proto Indo European language was pitch based, it was based on the frequency of vibration. However, Proto Germanic languages, including English, were stress based. In the parent Indo European language, the stress would fall on any syllable. There was a free accent in a word. However, in the Germanic group, the tendency was for the stress to fall on the initial syllable. As a result, the syllables at the end of the words tended to become weak and they were finally dropped. And this accounts for the reduction and the loss of inflections in languages like English. So that's it. Thank you for listening.